Oh my gosh, I've been muted. There we go. Aaron just came in and told me I was muted. I'll start that over because that was great. Welcome to Youth Night. If you're watching us live on YouTube, be sure to say what's up in the chat. Say hey, check in, talk to each other while you're on there. And then if you're just checking us out tonight for the first time, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Soma Eastside Youth. And then you can also find a lot of details about who we are and what we do on somaeastsideyouth.org. Tonight, we've got a lot of great stuff lined up for you guys. But before we jump into that, just like you guys normally would be funneling into our home a little after 6:30, I'm going to give a few minutes for more people to log on. And while we do that, I'm going to read some of the 60 best, I'm not going to read all 60, but some of the best corny dad jokes. Here we go. I got to make sure some of these are appropriate. So, how do you get a squirrel to like you? You act like a nut. That was dumb. Why don't eggs tell jokes? They'd crack each other up. Really? I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. What do you call someone with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. That was my favorite one. Anyways, I'll give you one more. Let's see. What concert cost just 45 cents? 50 Cent featuring Nickelback. Probably most of you guys are like, who the heck is 50 Cent and Nickelback? That's for my leaders. All of us throw back to 50 Cent in the club and Nickelback. Look at this photograph. All right, we're going to get the night rolling. Here's what we got tonight. Tonight we've got the first two parts of our senior sessions. So there's 4 parts total. We'll look at the other 2 in a couple weeks when we're back. Dropping that. We're off next Monday night. So just make sure you know that. There is no youth night next Monday night. But tonight we're looking at the first 2 sessions of my talks, my sit down with the seniors. I wanted to do it, in person, but obviously we did it over Zoom. So we'll take a look at those. The first 2 topics we're covering are friends and then family. Friends kind of features a little bit of relationships, dating and such. And then we'll hear from Megan, hear about her faith story and how she came to follow Jesus. We'll also see a segment from me discussing spiritual cosmetics. We'll get a song from Bethany, and then we'll hear what God's been doing in Faith's life and Ellie's life during this quarantine. Let's just get the night rolling. So, let's see our first video challenge submission. This one's coming in from Megan. I'm pretty sure that was Brooklyn laughing, yes. Hey, what am I never supposed to do again or say like that? Is it into club? Should I not say into club? Am I saying that right, kiddo? Katie seems to agree. Anyways, let's keep moving. Let's hear from Faith and hear what God's been doing in her life.
Hi everyone, this is Faith, and I just wanted to talk about what God has taught me through quarantine. So I've learned to appreciate my family and appreciate what I have. I'm lucky to have a roof over my head. I'm lucky to live with my family, and I'm lucky to be healthy. I need to remember what to be grateful for and to appreciate the little things.
Hey, seniors. Why don't you go around and say your names for everyone who obviously already knows you?
Who do I go first?
Do it. Do it.
I'm Liv. I'm a senior.
We know you're a senior.
I
Let's
don't
look
know.
like four seniors.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just going to introduce you. We got Liv, wave your hand. Elena Dean. She's in my top left, but I don't know how the recording's looking. And then John, you're in the bottom right. All right. So each of these folks are graduating this year. And if we were meeting in person, I'd have them share a little bit about their experience and impart their soon-to-be adult. All you guys are adults, huh?
We are adults.
Oh no, not Liv. Not
Right,
Liv.
except not Liv.
Like,
Next week.
Next week. Oh
We're
yeah,
close.
you're like
We're
2 or 3
close.
days before me, huh?
Mhm.
Aren't you the
21st?
25th? What are you?
21st. First.
Oh, I'm the 28th. Well, impart your senior wisdom into our 6th through 11th graders. So we're going to break this up. So I want to talk first about friendships over the last 7 years for you guys. So let's start off with this one. Elena, you want to go first?
Sure.
It's first day of freshman year. Think back to it. What would you now, where you're at, say to freshman year Elena Dean?
I would say I was very shy and introverted back then. So I would say like try and like broaden your horizons and try new things. I had a lot of upperclassmen friends that I met like through like ASL and stuff. So having them was really helpful for me. Yeah, just don't be like afraid to try new things, even though like everything's scary because you just got there, but it'll help you grow like faster. It helped me like adapt more. So
yeah. John, what about you?
So freshman year, English class was first period, and that's the only class that Elena and I have ever had in our
Really?
how many years of school, first through 12th grade.
12, yeah.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
The
That's
only
kinda crazy.
class we've gone to the same school, same everything.
PE, but it was like the same period, not the same class.
Okay.
Yeah, so we like line up on opposite ends of the gym. But anyway, so your English, one of your first assignments is you write a letter to yourself about your senior you, and you talk about like what you're excited about. And I just got mine.
Oh yeah.
And my ideals and values have like changed so much. Like it's not embarrassing, but it's like, why would you think that? High school is so much different than an 80s movie.
Yeah.
It's, a lot of fun. Definitely just talk to people. Just even if you're shy, just turn your brain off and go talk about whatever. Make as many friends as possible, because I mean, you grow so much physically and mentally in these 4 years of your life.
Yeah. Did any of you guys have an awkward growth spurt where you were just like way bigger than everyone else?
Yeah.
That was you? Okay. Liv, you're like, no, still haven't.
I've been the short since like what, 6th grade? Like nothing's changing.
Yeah. Liv, what about you? What would you say to freshman Liv?
So I came into high school my freshman year with the same group of girls I had been friends with throughout middle school and elementary school. And I would, if I could go back, I'd tell myself not to worry about all the freshman year drama you will probably experience with your friends. It's all stupid. It's all pointless. Like
it never ends.
Like by sophomore year, you're over it. You're like a new person. So like, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Freshman year drama does not matter.
The only people that hate on freshmen are sophomores, so don't.
It's true. That is a true point.
And they're usually worse than freshmen. So.
Yeah.
They're so sophomoric, huh? Anyway, sorry, that was a bad joke. Okay, making and maintaining friendships is quite difficult. It takes effort, right? All relationships take effort. Any tips for the middle schoolers that are, who are learning how to manage these social dynamics, especially you got a couple of them going up in a high school group next year. Yeah, any tips for them?
I would say like make your own opinion on like the people you hang out with, because if you listen to other people that are like, oh, that person sucks, but really that's like their opinion. Like I've been manipulated by other people to convince me that I shouldn't have the friends that I have, even though they were way better than the people that were telling me that they were bad. So like make your own opinions on your friends. Yeah.
Kind of adding on, like, don't be afraid to like have different friends than everybody else does. Like, don't try to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely just, I mean, none of you know who you are yet. So don't isolate yourself just because you think you're this or that.
Yeah.
Just, you're still figuring yourself out, and you never truly figure it out. So don't isolate yourself with a certain group of people, because if they turn out to be not your friends, there's nothing more alone than being around people that you don't even consider friends. So it's not worth to like close yourself off to a certain group of people, like, oh, I want to be solely with the kids in my sport, or kids in my extracurricular activity, or whatever it may be. Don't isolate yourself from the constant other people. And I would say that most of my friends, or people that I've talked to, have people been grades above and below. Like, this is the first year that I've really connected with a lot of my grade. I mean, I always kind of knew them and I hang out with them, but I definitely like in school, the older kids,
Yeah.
I mean, they're cool and they're all nice. So just talk to them about whatever, and you'll find people who have the same interests as you, and you'll just be yourself, and they'll like you for who you are. So it's a lot easier.
I would also say that like it's okay to have different groups of friends. Because I've like had that, and like you don't want to mix them together because it never goes well. Like I have had really awkward, horrible birthday parties because I invited everyone. So
Oh, I know those.
it's okay to like be in separate places.
It's the worst thing when you have friends coming over for a sleepover and you thought, yeah, they'll all hang out, and like it's like 9:01 and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's the beginning of the night and these people hate each other.
There's people in this corner, people in that corner. There's
Yeah.
a couple over there that's not talking to anybody. Like it's just
Yeah, that's the worst. Well, cool. Good word there. Last one in regards to friends. This is in regards to girl and boyfriends. So each of you have dated throughout your, at least the 4 years. I mean, I've known most of you since I've been here, at least 5 years. John and Elena, we were in the same MC. You were little kids then. And Liv, I met you shortly after. But at least since I've known all of you, you've partaken in dating relationships. So I'm sure, yeah, there's been some positives, negatives, things you've enjoyed. I'm sure you've made a few mistakes, or maybe mistakes have been made towards you. Yeah, what's one piece of advice you'd give your younger peers regarding dating?
I would say again with like what I said about the friend thing is making like your own opinion on the person that you want to date, because I've had like issues with like being so worried about what other people think that I like force myself out of a relationship, even though like that person was a good person and it could have worked out, but I was too busy like worrying about what other people thought about my relationship.
Okay.
Oh, that's a hard one.
It is.
I would say in all situations, put yourself first. Like, even if you really like the person, or like the idea of having whoever on your side, like their eye candy or whatever. But high school it's so much, like, it's just gets boring if you can't communicate with them. So I would say make sure you can communicate with them, because there's definitely some people that you try to talk to, and it's like talking to a brick wall, and it just doesn't go anywhere.
So you go for them for the looks maybe, and you don't even realize it. Perhaps even the
Some cases, definitely freshman, sophomore year, that was like the big focus. But like as I've grown and like understand and figured a little bit out, I definitely like there's depth to people, and you want to figure that out.
Okay.
And also don't like become somebody you're not to date a person?
Mm, that's good. Yeah, because we do all kind of like put on our game face for our significant other, right? But there's a point where you get to a certain duration and you're like 6 months in, you're a year in, maybe some people even go to like marriage, and then they're like, wait, I don't really like that. I actually did that with Aaron when we were dating. Before we started dating, I pretended I was a runner because Aaron McKay ran, and that was my way of hanging out with Aaron McKay. She wouldn't hang out one-on-one with guys unless they were dating. But for some reason, she had this little asterisk on that guideline for herself, and she'd go on runs. So that was my way. And then as soon as she dated me, I was like, I don't run. Heck no. I'll take you on a date. Anyways, I was able to pivot. So, yeah.
No.
Liv, what about you?
I think a big one is there's a big difference between liking that person and then liking the idea of that person. So don't just date to date. Like, make sure you actually like the person and want to date them, as opposed to being like, well, I just want a boyfriend, any boyfriend, you know what I mean? Or any girlfriend, just make sure you know where your feelings are at.
Yeah.
Don't date just to date.
Yeah, and there's no rush too. Like, you don't have to, because you're in high school, you don't have to be this mature figure now. Like, you don't have to go immediately into relationship after relationship. Sometimes it's nice being single and focusing on yourself. But also, nobody has it figured out. So even if your friends like, oh yeah, I totally know this, totally know that, it's nobody
Yeah.
figured it out. I mean, even people that are married for 10 years, they're still learning stuff every day. Like, it's not, nobody has it figured out. And there's going to be those awkward experiences. Like, the first girls that I started talking to, it's just, I can remember it so vividly, and just what I know now, how painful it must have been.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Failure is a good teacher, and it's.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot in those 4 years, especially in high school, about relationships if you do date. So, like, adding on, like, it's okay to fail and mess up and learn, because you learn a lot about relationships in those 4 years of high school.
I'd probably say I've learned more from failing than from doing something right.
Okay.
Do any of you look back on any relationships you've partaken in, wish you would have avoided? Younger, Elena's laughing because
I don't know if I should say anything.
but what I mean, or do you think, no, I learned from that, or because I've got a couple that I personally I regret, and if I were to go back, I would have said don't do that. But there's a couple that I learned through failure too, or it not going well. So do you guys have any like that you don't have to name names? Let's not drop hints and descriptions of what they look like.
I wouldn't say I regret any of the boyfriends I've dated.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely regret some of the things I've said or done in relationships, but I wouldn't say I regret dating those people and who they were. I've still learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
And I still continue to learn a lot from them. So
yeah, I think I learned a lot from my past relationships, but I also feel like I kind of rushed into them. Like, I didn't know the people as well as I thought I did. So it was like, I feel like you should know them mostly when you start dating them, not like be getting to know them when you're like already in a relationship with them, because it's harder. Yeah. And then like if they're not the person that you thought they were, then it's like very rough.
Have you heard that expression of like, there's this gal who she's like a pastor's wife, but she's like, I've been married to 5 different men, but they're all the same guy, and just how they change and evolve over time. So even on the other side of marriage, there is some like, we will grow and change and be different season by season. So I get what you're saying. Don't rush too quickly into it without knowing them. But then there is also, excitement. There's joy in learning new things about someone, right? I mean, that's a fun thing about getting to know someone, learning little quirks and things they like and are passionate about. That's fun. John, what are you looking at?
I'm just thinking and like smiling.
Like,
Okay.
Anything else you want to add about dating?
You don't have to do anything that your partner says.
Mm.
Um,
Say it louder for all the boys, all the young men.
you
Say it
don't
for the
have to,
girls too.
you don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with.
Mm-mm.
And that it's okay to fail. Like the people that I met freshman year are drastically different today, and I am too as a person. Like,
Mhm.
so, like your body and your mind are going to change so much in these next 4 years, and how your outlook on life. It's just wake up every day with a good attitude, and I mean the sun is always just out of reach.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I mean, you can definitely learn a lot, and it's just a great time. Like high school is what you make it. So you're gonna, if you go at it with a good attitude, you're gonna have a great time. And there's definitely some people that have, and I'm gonna quote them, but they're just being over dramatic. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I hate high school. I'm gonna kill myself." Like just because they didn't study for a test and they didn't prepare, but they made themselves miserable. And if you have that mindset towards high school, then you're just not going to enjoy yourself.
You don't even have to date in high school. Like, I know it's hard to like see like if your friends are dating, then you want to date, but like I think you should really wait until you're ready. Like I have a lot of friends that have not dated and they are seniors like me and they're completely fine.
Yeah.
And the unexpected things are oftentimes the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Sorry, that like a truck. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like all the best ones, it's just you just start talking to the person and you just hit it off, and then it's, oh wow, this girl or guy is really cool, and it's you just have fun hanging out at a minimum. And if you like each other, then you can date, and it's easy and it's nice, and you don't want to give yourself stress by like checking Snapchat scores or locations or who they're with, or if they didn't text me in the past 10 minutes, like, oh my gosh, they're cheating and all this. No, if they genuinely care about you, they're gonna make you a priority. And confidence is sexy, guy and girl. It does not matter. Confidence.
That's true.
I'm not sure our sixth graders need to hear that yet, but okay. Good advice, John.
I didn't
Not the S word.
I thought this was just for eights.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys on that one.
Hi guys, it's Megan. I am here to talk to you a little bit about my faith journey today. I also grew up in a Christian home, and God was always a part of our family, especially since my dad was a pastor. But there definitely were some big holes in my view of God that I learned about along the way. So the kind of overarching theme of my life has been seeking the approval of others and the acceptance of others. And as a kid, this looked like trying to be the teacher's pet or figuring out what people in authority wanted of me and then trying to kind of rise to that occasion or become who I thought other people expected me to be. In middle school, this looked more like adapting to who I thought friends wanted me to be so that I could fit in. In high school, I shifted my focus more to guys and kind of would pick out who I thought I wanted to date and then figure out what I thought that guy wanted in a girl. And then I would basically become who I thought that guy wanted so that I could date him. And I sort of lost myself along the way, made some poor decisions, did some stupid things. And it all was in an effort to earn acceptance and earn approval. And this way of thinking really shifted over into my relationship with God. I thought of him as someone whose love and affection I had to earn, and I had to also earn his acceptance. And I kind of made up this like point system, not exactly, but in my mind, where it was like, okay, if I read my Bible today, then God's gonna love me a little bit more. If I make a bad choice, God's gonna love me a little bit less. And I lived my life kind of feeling like either really, really great about what I was doing or really, really bummed about what I was doing because I thought I was having an impact on how much or how little God loved me at that particular time. When I was in college, God really taught me a lot about his love and grace through Mark 14. I was in a service learning about Mark 14, and particularly the passage where the woman comes and she anoints Jesus' feet with the expensive perfume. And those around, the super religious, super spiritual people, are just mocking her. Like, what is she thinking? This is crazy. What a waste. And at first, I mean, it's kind of a natural human reaction to look at this and be like, yeah, that is a waste. Like, what is she doing? But I love that Jesus sees her heart. I just imagine him looking into her eyes and seeing what's inside. And he looks at the people in the room and he tells them to leave her alone and says, she has done a beautiful thing to me. And those words of Jesus stuck with me and just sort of like rolled over in my mind the next few weeks. I actually pulled out my journal and I wrote in here, I picture God as never being satisfied with me. And it makes me sad to read that and think that I felt like I could never do enough. I could never be enough for God. And what God showed me through this is that we don't have to earn his love. We actually can't. And nothing we do can make him love us more or less. And that's something I had heard a lot before, but until this passage, for whatever reason, God used this story to really hit it home for me and to really amaze me and overwhelm me with his infinite love for me. And more specifically, the fact that I'm not earning that love and I'm not doing anything to take away from it. He is satisfied with me because of Jesus, because of grace. And that just hit me in a fresh and new way that God wants me. He wants exactly me individually, because he created me this way. He doesn't need me to pretend to be someone or something else. He doesn't need me to do anything to love me. He already loves me. And the other thing that kind of struck me about this passage was just looking at the sacrifice that this woman made for Jesus, and that even though it looked crazy to other people, I love that Jesus thinks it's beautiful, and I want my life to be the same. I want Jesus to look at me and think, wow, I can't believe she did that for me. I can't believe she was willing to sacrifice that. And so I think this story showed me not only that Jesus loves me infinitely and I don't have to earn his love, but God just wants me. He wants me to be me and to worship him with who I am, and that is enough. And I don't need to earn his approval or his acceptance. He loves me how I am. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing part of my story, and I hope it encourages you that God loves you infinitely more than you can imagine. And you can't mess that up, and you can't earn it anymore. He loves you so much. Okay, as an addendum, I'm not saying don't read your Bible, but I'm just saying that the things that we do for God should be out of love for him, and that I finally was freed from feeling like I had to do things to earn his love for me. Spending time with him doesn't earn his love, but that's something I want to do out of my love for him.
So let's sink another drink, 'cause it'll give me time to think. If I had a chance, I'd have the
So I'm going to let you in on a little bit of my insecurities. I have horrible skin, and I really hate all the acne and scars and bumps I get, and it's just awful. And I wish I could like grow out a beard and cover up the stuff, but I can't. Nothing Nothing grows. This is like it. This is all I can do. Maybe that's why, McNeely, is that why you grow out your beard? Or you just, no, I'm joking. Sorry, bro. That's my inner Chandler having to put down people to make myself feel better. Sorry, pray for me. But anyways, yeah, I want to let you in on just seeing all the stuff that I'll let you see. Like, I use like this and like, but then I also tried like this gentle cleanser, and then there's like this scrubby thing, and it's like a coffee. It's actually pretty cool. Then I've got this, oh geez, this looks like a mess. I'm sorry guys. Then I use this like gentle moisturizer thing, and then I've got like a blemish stick for when I get really bad pimples. And I use this like thing for my eyes. I've got this thing called the Good Goop that like, it's pretty good, like handles a lot of stuff. I feel like there's something else in here for my face. Am I wrong? Oh yeah, I mean, just the cucumbers, guys. Those wipes are good. Nice. And then, you know, I used to use this stuff, this moisturizer. Sometimes, don't even know what it does, but I use it, and then use this for aftershave. It's pretty cool. Kind of stings. I don't know if that's supposed to do that. Any more face stuff? So that's everything I use or have used in like the last 6 months. But I go through that like all the time. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I try like a new cleansing and moisturizer line every few months, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's getting better, and then I'm like, no, I hate my skin. There's also this, I just realized there's this one product that I have that was in that little bag in the drawer that I totally forgot. It's like this, I didn't realize when I bought it at the time, I didn't know what Cover Up was, but it was like this little acne spot thing is what it said. And then, yeah, I realized it like left this color thing. And I was like, huh, that's kind of weird. And yeah, it turns out it was a little bit of makeup. I used that for a while without realizing that that's what that was. But yeah, even that, like, I personally just hate that feeling that I get so self-conscious about my flaws, my blemishes, all that type of stuff on my skin, and really can affect the way I feel sometimes going into a day, especially like going out or something like that, especially I'm like taking my wife out on a date or trying to look good for her or anything. I'm like, but then there's this thing, and it's just like sticking out like, hello. And so the interesting thing, simultaneously as I was like reflecting on that, I started reading this book called The Ragamuffin Gospel by a guy named Brennan Manning. And there was just some really cool things in there, some parallels to how I relate to God that way. That I could like be really insecure about something going on in my heart or mind, and be, as a result, be fearful or distant, want to cover up some things before I come before God. And it's kind of weird that I relate, the way I relate to people here, it's very similar to how I relate to God, that when I relate to people here, man, I don't want them to see my scars or my skin the way it truly is, the way I really do look. I don't look like that. Even, I mean, I'm putting on Cover Up. I'm covering up who I really am. And so, yeah, I just want to read to you, there were 2 quotes that I wrote down in my journal that were really, I've just been chewing on and thinking about this past couple weeks. First one, Brennan wrote, God not only loves me as I am, but also knows me as I am. Because of this, I don't need to apply spiritual cosmetics to make myself presentable to him. I can accept ownership of my poverty and powerlessness and neediness. Speaking in regards to spirituality, but yeah, I love that line. I don't need to apply spiritual cosmetics to make myself presentable to him. I just thought that was so, man. It was so impactful for me that simultaneously yesterday I sat down yesterday morning before church service, I sat down to try and read my Bible. And I was just looking through my journal, realizing I had been in a habit of journaling every time I read my Bible. And I look back, I'm like, I know it'd been a few days since I had read my Bible. And then when I wrote yesterday morning, I ended up writing, just finished, let's see, yesterday morning, 7:45 a.m. It's been more than 2 weeks since I read my Bible, at least since I've sat on my own to read it without the intent of preparing for a sermon. And I just thought, man, I was really embarrassed about that and ashamed to even knowing that, I felt really hesitant to come before God through his word. And I don't know if you guys can relate to that. I'm sure you can at different points, but I wrote just right after that immediately, Holy Spirit, help me. Give me a desire for you. I want to want you. Help me. And then, yeah, just don't let the shame of my distance from you or my spiritual flaws come between me and you. And then the other quote that stood out to me was, Brennan wrote this. He said, "You are accepted. Never confuse your perception of yourself with the mystery that you really are accepted." So just like when I look in the mirror daily, a couple times a day, to get ready and so forth, and even at the end of the night as I'm getting ready for bed and stuff, and I can see all my, physical flaws and scars and things like that, where I'm like, that's annoying. And I want to touch them up and buy different products to try and make it look better. That perception of who I am, where I'm like, I am that, I'm less than what I want to be. Similarly, spiritually, man, when I look in the spiritual mirror, when I reflect and think through, and when I realize, man, I don't always desire God, or I don't really want to be the man he calls me to be sometimes, or I don't want to live a holy life. I don't want to follow Jesus some days. It's when I see that, when I have that perception of, and I think that defines me, and it's like, no, that's not actually how it works. The reality is, I am accepted, and I shouldn't confuse that perception of who I think I am with all those spiritual flaws. I shouldn't think that defines who I am. That doesn't define who I am. The gospel is that Jesus is righteousness. Jesus is blemish-free spirituality. That defines who I am. And so I don't have to buy all these spiritual products to make myself more presentable to God. I don't have to get spiritual blemish sticks. I don't have to get spiritual cover-up. I don't have to get spiritual face coffee scrub and all these different things. I am called to, yes, follow Jesus and to live a holy life, and that's something that's coming soon in the book of Acts as we talk through it more. But that doesn't make or break me. That doesn't define who I am. That perception of who I am when I'm insecure and doubt who I am, that doesn't define, that is not Tyler. Those are my insecurities, those are my doubts, those are my sin. Who I am is accepted. I'm accepted because of what Jesus did.
Hello, beautiful people. I miss you. I love you. I hope you're okay. I'm good. Hi. I'm filming in my laundry room because I have no privacy, which gets straight to the point of the question I've been asked to answer, which is, what have I been learning during quarantine, which is simply grace. I have not brushed my teeth or my hair. I have not done laundry. I fought with both my parents. I am addicted to my phone, and I have missed every Zoom call meeting. And all that piles up to be this huge luggage. And I look at this and I go, this is my identity. And God's like, no. Your identity is up here. And you are a child of God. And I am a child of God before I'm a student, before I'm a family member, before I'm a friend, before I'm a girlfriend. And that identity of God's child says that you are beautiful, you are worthy, and you are loved. Isn't that so much better than this whole thing? Throw that away. You don't need that. Society's success does not compare to the love that God gives you. So now I have been teaching myself to wake up in the mirror and just look at myself and say, you are beautiful, and you are worthy, and you are loved. That's it. That's all I've learned. And yet it has changed my mindset so much. I'm finally motivated, and I think just the fact that I'm breathing, that I'm stronger. So I hope you take that with you, and don't be so hard on yourself because you're breathing. Like I said, keep going. You got this. You're amazing, just like God says you are. This is turning into a pep talk, so I'm gonna go.
Hey y'all, if you didn't already know, my family and I are going to be moving to North Carolina, and I'm going to miss all of y'all so much. Okay, bye.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to miss every one of you, and that I'm going to have such a good time making new friends, but not as well as you.
3, 2, 1. Look down. Look up.
We're back.
Okay. All right, so now we want to talk about your experience with your family over the last 7 years. So, yeah, just thinking through from 6th grade until now, how has your relationship with your family evolved, grown, maybe gone a little bit like this, or and you're just like, oh no, I went off a cliff. Wait, is there anything under me? Yeah. How's it gone? Without putting down parties.
You're going to fall off the cliff. Like, that is unavoidable. Like, you are going to fall off the cliff with your parents at least once in your schooling career. And that is okay, because you learn from that, your parents learn from that. But don't think that your relationship with your parents throughout high school and middle school is supposed to be like it is in the movies. Like, you're going to argue, you're going to disagree, you're going to go off the cliff. So it's okay to go off the cliff sometimes.
I was going to say, when you say the movies, I think of like 10 Things I Hate About You is one of the teen movies I go to.
Yep.
I just think of the dad with you're going to wear the belly.
The pregnancy belly? Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Some people, I mean, we've got the belly at our house. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Honestly, wouldn't be surprised.
Easy. No.
Kidding.
John, what about you? How's your relationship with your family been over the last 7 years? Have you seen it change and evolve?
As I've grown and mature and have my own opinion, like, you never stop learning. And I think if your parents are full of wisdom, even if you don't want to hear it and you don't want to, sometimes an outside mindset who doesn't know anything, can just use hypotheticals and just get their input on the situation is nice, and they're a lot smarter than you think. So if you think you're getting away with something,
they know already.
Yeah, we know
They were
everything.
teenagers once, so get that out of your head right now.
Yeah.
And then treat them as a friend. Like, they don't have to be this guardian figure. I mean, they are when you're a baby, because you're completely dependent on them, and you're still dependent on them. Don't be like, oh, I know everything. But it's like, they can be there for you in ways that they can't be as a parent.
Yeah.
Elena?
To be honest here, I have like huge issues with authority. Like, I just want to do whatever I want, just like every other human, you know.
Yeah, I remember your college essay.
Yeah. So yeah, my parents and I have like butted heads like my entire existence, and I'm like the middle child, so it doesn't help anything.
All the odds are against you.
Yeah.
You should be like a gothic kid right now.
I know. So I'm definitely like rebel in my family, but there have been downs, but like also going through high school and trying to like understand each other, it has gone up. Like, I am in a much better place than I was freshman year with my parents. And like, as John was saying, like, they're wise even if you don't want to hear it, which I usually never want to hear it.
Yeah.
So like, it's okay to disagree, obviously, but they are like your parents, so you need to listen. I hate saying this. You need to listen to them.
You're gonna watch this on Monday night and hear yourself say that.
I know. I don't even
she's right. I need to listen to her.
She's right. Yeah, and like always, I was always apologize when you're wrong. Like I have to cool off for like an hour or so, and then I'm like, okay, I was being mean and rude, and like, this is so hard. I don't know.
No, that's great. Maybe you start this one. What role have they played in your faith journey? Aside from your dad being the lead pastor of our church.
Yes. I've definitely gotten a lot of encouragement from them 24/7. Like, every time I say something, they're like, Bible this, yes. So
Did I go out? Well, John this
says, or like every time I try and argue, they're like, respect your parents or whatever that passage is.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm exaggerating, but no, they've been huge encouragers, and like I see how proud they am when I like respond and like really give myself to God, and so it's nice to see how proud they are when like it encourages me to be like more in my faith when I see like their reaction to how when I am improving. So
What about you two?
My parents have definitely played a role in my faith, and I think that my parents are two good role models of how your life should be lived out while loving Jesus. Like my dad, I can't remember a time where he doesn't wake up early to like not read his Bible, like, or like my mom, she's always reaching out to others and asking how she can pray for them. Like I just see how great God has worked in their lives by loving Jesus, and I think that has influenced me to like want to build relationships with others who love Jesus so I can have one day a community like they have.
Yeah, it's cool. John, anything you'd add?
Might have been a little different. Like they've, from a young age, like we always went to church, and they told me, "Oh, what did you learn in Sunday school today?" To like make sure I retain some basic Bible stories. But they never really forced it upon me. They just made it very aware and like present that, oh, this is very important, and they kind of let me decide and come to it on my own. And then when I have questions and stuff, they're great resources. They're both doing Bible study, so they're well in the Word, and but a lot of my growth, or that's not true, but a lot of like I want to seek God, so I come to them when I need to, but for the most part, I just I'm on my own. I don't like coming to people with Jesus. That's just a personal thing, but like I don't have a problem talking about it, but like expanding my knowledge and asking for what is your idea or guidance in this is a little harder for me, especially through the Jesus like viewpoint, because it's different than earthly. But they definitely made it very aware from a young age that it was very important. So
let's do one more for family. Is there anything you wish that you would have done differently in regards to relating to your parents? Maybe you're like, oh no, I only have this much time with them, or this many more family dinners, or I don't know. Yeah, it could be the little things. It could be there was this time in kindergarten. No, I'm joking.
I mean, that's kind of hard to answer right now because I've seen them a lot the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's real tense. But it's definitely nice getting this unexpected time with them before I go out into life, and it's like definitely just be friends with them at a minimum. Like as you get older, they'll treat you more as a friend, and they'll definitely still parent you, but if they're your friend, then you can come to them with anything.
What about you two? Anything you do differently?
There's a list.
Oh.
I think the big thing is I wish I had gone to my parents I wish I had gone to them more often for some of the issues and things I had to deal with in high school. So my advice in general would be like, don't be afraid to like go to your parents. Like they're your parents for a reason. Like utilize that. As hard as it can be, they once again are way more wise than you and always know what's happening and always know, even if you think they don't, they know.
Right.
So I wish I had gone to my parents more, and although I go to them more for more things now, I wish I was like freshman and sophomore live. I wish freshman and sophomore live did. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh,
Lena.
I'm just such an independent person. Okay. I think honestly, getting to know like their personalities more, like they're not just like my mom, my dad, like they're like Catherine and Paul, and they like all these things and stuff. Because I feel like I'll give like Carolyn as an example. Like I feel like she knows like my parents way more than I do, which like she's not that much older than me. Yeah, I just think like getting to know them more personally than they're like these authority figures that keep telling me what to do, you know? So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks, guys.
It happened again. I'm muted. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to start again. Thank you for joining us tonight for Youth Night. I want to give you 2 reminders before we peace out for the night and head to Zoom groups. One, I want to remind you that there is no Youth Night next Monday night. We are off for the week. And then 2, I did want to remind you about our World Vision child that we've decided to sponsor, Grace. If you recall last week, we talked about how belief in Jesus leads to generosity, leads to generous living. And so we decided as a group, student leadership took the initiative and wanted to support a child together as a group. So this is a student-funded child. We want to encourage you guys that, as you place your faith in Jesus, we're called to live generously and support those who are less fortunate than us and give and just live a life that is blessing others. And so you can go on our website and read more about Grace and read more about her family and her village and her situation. And I just encourage us as a group that how awesome it is, an opportunity that we can come alongside her family from all the way on the other side of the world and just help support her, help feed her, and give her resources so she can go to school and grow up healthy and strong and so forth. And so, it's such a cool opportunity. I'm grateful for you guys that you guys have been starting to give. I want to encourage you guys. It's a monthly thing, so it's $39 a month. And so even just a couple dollars a month that you guys can support is great. And we set this up, so if you go to SomaEastSideYouth.org, go to our website, click on tonight's post. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a section called Support Grace. You'll see a picture of her and a little bit of details. If you click on that link, it'll take you actually to our registrations website, which is the same platform that we use for signing up for things like Winter Escape, movie nights, and the Escape, and so forth. And so made it really familiar for you guys, and it's just a couple details. You just put in your name and, the amount of money you'd like to support. And it's just a one-time thing, but we'll remind you each month as we go forward. And the cool thing is, in the next couple weeks, we're going to receive a welcome packet from Grace, and we'll receive some ways that we can write her and encourage her as a group. And so that'll be something coming down the line that you guys can be a part of ways we can write Grace and send her letters to the other side of the world, which is really cool. And I think she'll actually start to send us some things too, which is really sweet. So, and then the last thing, I did send this out to parents, but the Escape 2020 has officially been, unfortunately, canceled. And I know we had laid out some dates. We hadn't released information yet, but it is official. We are not going away this summer. But Winter Escape 2021 dates are final. They're on, I think I may have put them on our website. I think it's February 12th through the 15th, that same weekend. We're going again, 3 nights, 4 days, back to the Enzian Inn, our annual trip. This will be our 3rd year in a row. So aside from that, guys, that's a wrap on Youth Night. I encourage you guys to join us over on Zoom for groups. I hope you guys have a great week if you don't join us, but I hope to see you over on Zoom for groups. We're going to start off by just hanging out high school and middle school, and then we'll eventually break off even more. All right, guys, have a good week. Hope to see you over on Zoom.